The possibility of another island exam for the third year arc is one question that asked by a lot of reader. We got island exams during summer vacation for the first and second year arc, so it's normal to think there will be another one for the third year. However, according to Yagami in volume to second year arc, an exam as big as the island exam is usually only conducted once during a student's school life, so we most likely wouldn't get another island exam for the third year. The uninhabited island exam was an exception, but it doesn't mean the chances are zero. If the uninhabited island exam happened because of Tsukishiro interference, it wouldn't be impossible if Kijima or some higher-up decided to create another exam as big as the uninhabited island exam to escalate the tension of the competition. Because, let's just be honest, the third year arc really needs another big showdown between its characters. Even though Volume 1 of the third year arc is not a bad volume, it is still just a basic introduction to start the new and final year. We didn't get any actual thread or lighthouse that could guide us in a clear direction. It's fine because it's just the first volume, but Volume 2 and the next need to pave the way to make sure the mistake from the latter half of the second year wouldn't happen again. The third year arc needs a big antagonist, a clear goal, and if possible, a well-structured battleground for them to fight each other. We know that there is no more good antagonist left in the school, so Ayanokoji chose to step up and become the villain himself. However, if Ayanokoji will become the villain, then the next question that needs to be answered is, who will be the hero? Hero and villain are just a matter of perspective, but one thing for sure is, Ayanokoji really needs a worthy opponent. After completely crushing Ryuen in the previous volume, Ayanokoji already secured his position as the class leader, and that means he is ready for the bigger challenge, and I think this is the perfect time to prepare Coenji to become the next big player. Coenji was hyped to finally take action in Volume 12.5, but his absence in Volume 1 third year arc is one of the disappointing factors from that volume. However, Coenji still has a chance to get a proper introduction and formally challenge Ayanokoji, just like how he decided to challenge the uninhabited island exam in Volume 2 of the second year arc. It will be nice if we get another scene between Ayanokoji and Coenji after they no longer become classmates, and it will be a plus point if we get a bit of Coenji's past. The order that his father left for Coenji is the key. If Coenji is a good son who obeys his father, he will most likely do what his father told him to do. However, it is not impossible if Coenji chooses to disobey his father and just mind his own business like usual. After all, this is Coenji we are talking about, and Coenji never took orders from anyone. This is where things might become interesting. We didn't know how strong his father's influence on Coenji was, but if President Coenji could confidently order Coenji, he must be restraining him quite tightly. However, Coenji values his freedom the most, so he will probably find the middle way and try to get everything done in a single move, just like how he achieved his freedom back in the uninhabited island exam. Coenji probably will make an offer with Ayanokoji to settle everything in the next exam, and if Ayanokoji loses, he will need to leave the school. Coenji challenging Ayanokoji will feel like the boss battle, and I guess there is nothing that could match that kind of hype. This kind of setup is really important, because keeping Coenji for too long could potentially make him feel left out and end up forgotten, just like Nagumo. However, since their battle will be legendary, it will be a waste to not prepare the best setup possible for their battle, and that is why another island exam is most likely to happen. Since Kinugasa promised the third year arc will focus more on the third year, I don't think we could get another island exam that include the whole school, but it should be fine even if it's just the 4 classes. Since Ayanokoji won the first year island exam and Coenji won the second year island exam, the third year island exam will be perfect for the showdown between the winners. Or, that's what I was hoping for. Coenji might be the only chance that they have to defeat Ayanokoji, but that doesn't mean Horikita or Ryuen will turn into a side character. If Volume to the third year arc doesn't have any special exam, it should focus on character development, especially Ryuen and how he handles his defeat from the last volume. Since Volume 1 third year arc was focused on Ryuen, the next volume should focus more on his classmates and how they try to support Ryuen. So far Ryuen mostly fights alone and only gives an order to his classmates, but that kind of method has already proven ineffective against Ayanokoji, so Ryuen's classmates really need an upgrade. Coincidence or not, it was mentioned in Volume 1 third year arc that Ayanokoji was planning to meet Hiyori soon after the exam was finished, and this could be the perfect chance for Hiyori to finally do something. Hiyori is one of the smartest characters in the series, but she rarely done something meaningful other than being a love interest. Not a lot of people realize that she has a very special connection with Ayanokoji, and if she could take advantage of it, Hiyori could become a really valuable asset for Riwen. Not just Hiyori, Ibuki is close with Horikita, and Katsuragi knows a lot about Ayanokoji's class. As long as Riwen wants to admit that he needs help, he will be fine going forward. The same could be said to Horikita. After experiencing 5 stages of grief and accepting the reality of Ayanokoji's transfer, Horikita needs to rearrange everything to see what she still has, instead of agonizing over Ayanokoji. Ayanokoji already gave her some hint that Matsushita is more capable than what she had shown, and that should be Horikita's first task to know her class better. And if Coenji choose to approach her, Horikita will have a lot to handle in the next volume. The second volume and probably a few volumes after that will be very crucial to set the tone for the rest of the 3rd year. If it becomes a soft and uneventful volume, then don't blame the readers if they choose to leave. The title of the final year creates an atmosphere that everything will finally reach the conclusion, and there is no more time to play. That's why Kinugasa really needs to reduce his habit of introducing more unimportant characters and focus straight on the lore and mystery. Speaking of mystery, perhaps the next volume will become a good opportunity for Ishigami to appear again. Ishigami last appeared in Volume 9's 2nd year arc, but since his name was mentioned by Tsubasa in the last volume, he already has a setup to appear and reveal his secret. The 3rd year arc is currently still paving the way, so Ishigami adding a little information should be welcomed with open arms. Ishigami and Tsubasa, they really need to step out of the shadow and show us why they were sent to ANHS. Since Volume 12.5 made it clear that everything will be politically related, perhaps their involvement could also set the way for the future political arc. However, it would be wise to just keep the bare minimum and let the students solve their own conflict before involving them in the bigger plot. And speaking of the bigger plot, the involvement of the new first-year student that Tsubasa mentioned in the last volume is quite concerning, because it could probably disturb the current pace of the 4-class battle, or escalate it to the next level if handled correctly. So far we still have a few mysterious second years who are yet to be explored, so adding another new character feels like a bad choice, but let's just see how it will turn out later. Everything will revolve around Ayanokoji. Whether he likes it or not, his goal will face a lot of trouble that could even potentially destroy his ideal goal. We need to remind ourselves that no matter how extraordinary Ayanokoji is, he is still just a child who plays in the palm of the adults. Ayanokoji himself needs to be aware of this, that his own game is not just his game alone. Either he will get the information about the bet from Coenji or Ishigami. Ayanokoji's awareness could potentially change the way he acts, and probably change his future dramatically.